First question is, who are you guys and what's your position within this project?
Who do you want to go first?
I'm being bossy right now.
Kind of what it was.
No problem. Okay, so
Who do you want to go?
I've got a view on the side of my screen. So shall I go in that order? So starting with Connor.
Yeah. So hi, my name's Connor. I played Frank in Perfectly Frank, and that's as an introduction. It was awesome doing this project, and my favourite colour is purple. Moving on. I don't know.
That's fine, no problem. So Luke is next.
Oh, hi, I'm Luke. I wrote and directed Perfectly Frank.
Okie doke.
I'm Claire, and I was the producer and costume designer on Perfectly Frank.
Okie doke. David?
I'm David, and I play Grandad. And I was at the auditions for the person that was going to play my grandson. And the only reason why Connor got the job is because he's got a big nose and he wears round glasses. So, because we look alike.
You mean you're not related?
Well, we're kind of related, but don't tell me mum.
David, how dare you insult my glasses?
Oh, God.
And finally, Daisy.
Hi, I'm Daisy. I play Lily in Perfectly Frank.
Okie doke. And so, okay, so the next question is, how would you describe the show to someone who's not heard about it before or heard anything about it? It's free to anyone.
Claire, do you want to say this one?
Yeah, thanks, Con. So, considering I didn't write the film, I'm just probably the one that talks about it the most. So Perfectly Frank is about 18-year-old Frank, and he lives at home, just him and his granddad. And Frank struggles with agoraphobia. And so we learn really early on that granddad is poorly. And the essence of the film is his relationship with Lily, who's a foul-mouthed, beautiful, kind-hearted girl, but foul-mouthed and very different to Frank. And Frank explores his anxiety and his agoraphobia through 1950s musicals, which is a thing that he and his granddad love to watch, and the part of the world that they would love to be in if it was possible. Did I miss anything?
No.
I mean, that sounds very good.
I'd watch it. I'd watch it.
Yeah. So we touched on your roles within the show, but for the people who are for the people who are actually within the movie themselves, so the cast, can you tell us about so who is Frank, who is etc. If you could talk through that.
You mean their characters?
Yes, so the characters, their position within the movie.
Yes.
Go on then.
So I guess cycle. I'd say for Frank, what was really fun about playing Frank is that it was almost like he was very comfortable in a world in which it wasn't his own. What was really interesting about this guy is that these really big, elaborate fantasy worlds he seemed more comfortable with than the minimalistic and kind of reality. And what was really fun about with Frank is that he was kind of discovering new things and new interests in something which was really small, but still trying to find the beauty in it. And I think that was a really fun aspect of playing with the character. And also as well, what was great is that because the cast was so small, it was really fun that you could kind of bounce different relationships with Grandad and with Lily, and there was two other wonderful performers in the film as well who played Frank's therapist and his next door neighbour, who small cast, but really intimate and really fun to play around with.
Hmm. And Daisy, for Lily, what's her role within the movie? How does she work?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure how to work Zoom. I've never done a Zoom before. Lily, yeah, Lily. You know, she's kind of, as Claire said, just a really potty-mouthed Scouse girl. I mean, she could have been anything really, Claire, couldn't have she? She could have been any accent really, but she ends up being a potty-mouthed Scouse girl who's just got a big heart and just wanted to help Frank on his journey throughout the story. And I feel like Frank and Lily have a really lovely connection, and those who've seen the film always seem to really enjoy Frank and Lily's like relationship as much as they love obviously Grandad and stuff like that. But like, you know, there's just that like banter almost between them. There's lots of like little comedy bits between Frank and Lily as well. So it was just a really great character to play, and I feel like I resonate with some of the things that Lily as a character might have went through in my younger years. So I could really relate to some of the things that she goes through in the film.
So you guys talked about how it's a passion project. So why did you get involved with it? Did the character really resonate with you? Did you enjoy the plot? Why get involved? Why this movie?
Well, I think from talking from my point of view, you know, I found the post on Facebook, and then someone I knew knew Luke, obviously, and they told me about it. And realistically, like, I didn't really know what I was getting myself in for. Like, to be honest, so it was one of them. But once I read the script and like I went for the audition and stuff, I knew off the bat it was going to be an amazing project to be involved with. So I was just really grateful that I got the part, because like I haven't come from like an acting background or like a musical theatre background like a lot of people have who, you know, get these parts. So I felt really privileged. So it was great to just work with a team of lovely people on a script that was just, I really loved the script as soon as I read it. So I was over the moon.
So same question to Connor. Why did you get involved? What is it about the show that attracted you to it?
In this world, it was kind of not what you know, but who you know. So I had a different connection for a person who recommended that I come forward through a Facebook post. So I came and auditioned, and we all auditioned at the Liverpool Empire, didn't we, guys? Which was a great day. And I think what I found really interesting about the setup for the film is that whenever you see a musical feature film, you kind of very stereotypically see kind of two romantic leads. It's very much usually a male lead, a female lead. It's very, you know, it's just very traditional, very classic. And I think what I really liked about this movie is that although the relationship between Lily and Frank is most apparent, the main thing is the relationship between Frank and his granddad, and kind of having that male personal relationship where like on how much family orientated it is and the love and that. And it was, instead of a romanticized love, it was a family wholesome love, and that was more an element. And I think you don't really see enough of that in musicals and films in itself. And although Frank has the name of the title in the movie, it's also very much Grandad's movie as well, in how he's trying to prepare Frank for a world which he doesn't belong in. So although Frank is heavily involved, I would say really it's Grandad and Frank who lead the movie, and it's their stories as well, which is something I thought would be really fantastic.
Obviously, Frank is the one who takes on has the agoraphobia, deals with the loss of a family member. Did you find that quite difficult to portray? Was it, obviously, because that will take an emotional toll on you as a performer?
No, of course. So obviously everybody always has a dramatic stories on how they get in. I wrote a diary for 7 weeks, and this was my element. You know, everyone has their own cheesy elements.
That's what I asked you to
One
do.
of the most yeah, exactly. One of the most wholesome moments, without trying to, I'm not going to reveal any plot points, happened where basically I had a family message within a costume that I had, and is my internet there? Yep. And basically I had a personal message which I left in one of my costumes, and it just so happens that when I read that, it kind of created something very personal, and then I just so happened that we had to film a scene within the next 5 or 10 minutes. So it was really easy to tap in to what we needed for that scene just through the circumstance and the coincidence of what I had in my pocket. I would say as well, for every scene, everybody prepares differently, but for me as well, I'd only done short for it. So this was really fun to kind of go from a sprint, which is a show, which you can do from like 7:30 till 10, and it's all the story. Whereas I'd say for me as an actor, filming, it's a marathon that you're being one scene from 6 in the morning all the way through till 6 at night, and trying to stay in character is really difficult. But like David, like how do you feel that like when you were filming was it difficult for you for the performance side, or
No, not well. You know, you have you draw on experience, you know, and I've had a few. Being an old guy, you know, I've had a few, you know, things in my life that have been quite tragic, you know, and not to go into details, but there is one that I can, you know, I can draw on just like that, because it's even though it's 20 years next week, I can draw on it quite easily, because it's still quite fresh in my mind.
Staying with you, David.
Yeah.
What was? Oh, sorry.
So you know, it's you know, people get to that point and have different methods to get to that point. You know, I have there's this particular situation that I went through a long time ago. So it wasn't. I mean, what I liked about my part was that it was very. You had to kind of play it down, you know. It was a kind of a, well, you know, it's not like a blockbuster gangster kind of feel to it. But and I like that fact that it had a pace that I kind of liked, and it kind of suited. You know, because sometimes if I was gigging late at night till 2 in the morning, then Claire would pick me up. She'd tell you what I was like in the car early mornings. You know, I felt knackered anyway.
You were happy to be there.
I think the knackered.
Every morning you were happy to be there, David. Every morning without fail, you said, "Luke, it's so lovely to see you this morning."
Every morning. Not before the first cigarette and coffee, you know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was an interesting thing it was an interesting role to play, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Perfectly Frank 2, the sequel.
Space. Well, one thing I can give you a little scoop, Rhys, that is a very unknown fact, that Connor and David have really hit on something, because the original name for the film was Tea Time with Grandad, and it was very much about that relationship between the granddad and the grandson.
Can I just point out, I got told that the title was terrible.
We binned that right away.
really bad title.
They said no one's going to want to watch something called Tea Time with Grandad. They think it's like a Steve Beebe's program.
Was I right?
That was exactly what I was saying.
Was I right?
Yes.
I wasn't expecting Button to come on and just with some digestive biscuits and telling us about his day with Grandad. Hi guys.
Look, titles are not my thing, all right? Give me a break.
You touched on it, but what was the process like for building a movie, a passion project? What was that process like?
Why are you handing to me? We similar to the guys, we had a bit of a a personal situation happened in just before Christmas a couple of years ago, and we lost a close friend, and he was way too young to go. And we talked about the film. Luke wrote the script 10 years ago, and so we talked about the film and wouldn't it be lovely, and isn't it, and there'd always never been the right time, and losing a friend, at that point we realised there actually isn't the right time ever. And the best time is now. And so, you know, one Christmas we said, right, okay, let's do this. And Luke re-looked at the script again, and then we created a Facebook page. And I think that was like what really made a lot of the elements of the film successful, because we were able to bring in so many different people who believed in the project and you know, had heart in it, that we were able to create something that has a very professional finished product for nowhere near a professional budget. So yeah, we put the script together, and then we went out to advert. We literally posted it on Facebook and everything else, and then we held auditions.
Before that, though, as well, we had so we've got a couple of different friends of ours. So Martin Grattan, who is the composer, is a friend of ours anyway, and so we'd already started sort of you know, batting the songs ideas around, and also Alan Pugh, who is the choreographer on the film as well. He's another friend of ours as well. He's a fantastic dancer and an incredible choreographer. So we kind of we started to sort of get the pieces in, and then we had Steve as well, who came on as a DOP after sort of, so basically I kind of one of the things I do in my day job is I sort of I make documentaries and current affairs programs, and I have to shoot them as well. And so one of the things that I'd said is that at this kind of level, I didn't want to accept somebody on that I didn't think that I could do better than myself. I wanted to be blown away by someone's showreel.
Yeah.
When I saw Steve's, it was incredible. The guy was amazing. So when I spoke to Steve about it, you know, we kind of, you know, and he said agreed to come on board. That was kind of the kind of piece that I thought, yeah, okay, this is going to make it even better and take it up to another level. And then, yeah, then we kind of started sort of looking at casting it and auditioning. But just as when we started to do that, we sort of got David sort of approached me because of something else. Isn't that right, David? Over to you.
Oh, no, dude. I wasn't even going to mention it.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. When you were discussing the name, I was like, are they going to mention it? Are they going to mention it?
I wasn't even going to mention the writ that I was going to throw at you. No, believe me, because I've got loads of Jewish solicitor friends. I wasn't going to bring them in. I wasn't going to say anything. That
they're everywhere.
Heavy Jewish solicitors in town.
You need to explain.
That would take it with probate. You know what I mean? That would have been cool. What happened
I feel like you need to explain to Rhys what actually happened.
Right.
It's now an in-joke which no one knows.
Okay, so anyway, so somebody shot me over the post on Facebook and said, "Have you seen this?" Right, Perfectly Frank, the film being made, and I went, "Whoa, behave!" And my act for the last 30,000 years has been called Perfectly Frank, and I do a Sinatra act called Perfectly Frank. So I messaged Luke and I said, "You can't use, you know, I'm a bit cheesed off that you're using my stage name." And then we got a little bit of a banter going on, and then I said, "Okay, I'll play Grandad as long as you knock 10 years off him, because he's supposed to be 70 and I'm only 60." And then we met for dinner, which I insist that he paid for, and which he did. And then I showed him a little show reel that I had, and he said, "Would you play?" Yeah, and that I think I was the first person he said, you know, you could get on board acting wise, and we got on well.
Everybody else had to audition.
Everybody else had to audition. It's
You
because you're not
didn't, though.
It's because you're not Jewish. I can't help it. It's not my fault.
Be careful
nothing to do with
now.
you being
You'll be
Jewish.
cancelled.
Like, there's no like Jewish kind of. We didn't come in there and go, well, David,
you're gonna have one at least for show business. So anyway, so we got on really well, and then he shot me over the script, and I thought the script was amazing. And, you know, it had some really tender, lovely moments in it for my part, which is great. And that was it, you know. And then they told me it was like 6 a.m. and I had to be up and put my suit on. And then I thought to myself, what am I doing? But anyway, we got through, and I got a Haribo habit. That was the main thing. We had a lot of Haribos on set.
There was. I think we did actually have. Did anyone have to go into therapy, Daisy? I think you had to go.
No, dentist. Dentist. But you know, it was long days, but fun though.
It was. It was really fun. Does anyone ever remember that time when we all just like was in bulk laughing for about half an hour, if not 45 minutes, for no reason because we were all exhausted? Do you remember that, Luke? It was in the living room. I think that pretty much happened regularly. That's pretty much every Saturday. We just like all like one thing would happen and it'd be something stupid and we'd all just like fall to pieces, like laughing for like an hour, and like, no, we've got to go back to work now, and then we'd all just laugh again because we were tired.
That must have been the hottest day on the planet when we were stuck in the post office with the lights on. Is that the one when we were all melting?
I did my feet.
We built a set, so we got a builder in, and we actually built a house underground in the Bliss Hotel in Southport. So they gave us their basement for about 7 or 8 months, wasn't it? And we built a living room and a kitchen. and then that got changed into Mrs. Jones's house and a bedroom. And so a lot of time was spent underground in a windowless room for lots of days. I'm sure we all need therapy for kind of post-traumatic.
Thinking about it.
I don't know. I was too busy rocking in the corner backwards and forwards, like what are you talking about?
We got a lot of help from a lot of people. You know, just people that we briefly tell the story to. You know, Southport were amazing to us, and our associate producer Danny dealt with everybody. Literally every human being that lives in Southport dealt with Danny at some point over the film, and he organised us all the beautiful places that we could go and see and film at, and got us access to them. And like I said, we started this project with Luke and I's life savings of £8,000. And then we crowdfunded for £12,000 to pay the editor. And so the whole project was made for that amount of money. And basically, it you know, it's not a project that reflects such a small amount, you know, of money into it. You've seen the trailer, obviously, and you've seen the bits that are up on Facebook. It's a very high-end product, and that was only done because so many talented people gave their time.
Well, one of the things that happened, so after obviously, you know, we knew David was going to be doing it, and we sort of put out to the auditions. You know, again, kind of casting Frank was always one of the things we talked about was going to be a hard thing as well, because you're there going, well, in fact, we're there casting the whole thing. In musical theatre, in musicals, in films, you've obviously got to be a triple threat. You know, you haven't just got to be a great actor, you've got to be a great singer and a great dancer as well. And so, you know, you kind of set the bar there. And all I kept thinking was, yeah, we're going to be screwed here. And thankfully, Connor turned up with his tie-dye vest on. Good God, I tell you what, I had to stand out in an audition. Even when I walked into the room, it's just like, whoa!
Mick, but you remember the tie-dye vest top, and you remember the guy who wore the tie-dye.
No one could unsee the tie-dye vest. No one could unsee it.
I've been rinsed for wearing that tie-dye vest top for every audition, and yet every time I will always be remembered for the horrendous hair 60s tie-dye vest top, and it worked Sometimes not for the better, but it works.
It was one of Daisy's stipulations that she would take the job if you promised never to wear that vest again.
And I wore it for every film day for 6 months.
So,
I didn't mind the tie-dye vest.
oh, good God. You're the only one. You're the only
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay.
So after kind of sort of like, you know, kind of wow with the audition, we were pretty much sort of locked. And then when Daisy came into the room as well, started reading for Lily, it genuinely, one of the things that Cloud turned around to me at the audition, I don't know if I've even told you guys this, but she, after you sort of did that first scene, Days, I just turned around to me and said, "Did you actually write it for her?" Because it was
That's hilarious.
It was just nailed. And then when Daisy sang, because one of the things that happened in the film is that Lily doesn't actually have a solo, or didn't. And then when Daisy turned up and auditioned as well, it was, well, Daisy's got an incredible voice, and you can't not sort of use that. You know, you can't have that talent and not.
I did sing the wrong song though. I nearly not got the part.
I was going to gloss over that.
I was too, yeah.
I nearly got it. I sang Christina Aguilera.
Luke's just bigged you up for 5-10 minutes, saying how amazing you were, saying how he had to write a song for you because of how good you were with your acting capability. And your first response was, "Yeah, but I really messed it up, so you know, never mind."
I think it's an important point because she sang a pop song, and we were looking for someone that had that more classical musical theatre feel. And it was hard to translate if she'd be able to sing some of our slightly more musical theatre numbers when she'd given us a full-on Christina Aguilera, which we knew without doubt she had a wonderful voice. What we wondered is if it was the right kind of voice for, you know, the character that we had. So we basically said to her, leave the room, think about what you're auditioning for, and sing us something that, you know, is more relevant. And she came back and she sang I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis, and it was just, that was the point we were like, okay, yeah, fine, we're fine.
Oh.
And you can also check that audition out
You
on our
can,
website,
it's
on
on
the Facebook site.
on the Facebook page.
Connor's audition as well.
Connor's, yeah, and David's.
And David.
Oh yeah.
Can we not watch that audition? Because the one highlighted bit that you did is when I did the most horrendous flat note in the entire world, and all of my friends and all of my family just went, they didn't say anything, they just went, oh, whenever they watch it. No, they don't say a comment, they just go, oh, because they know how bad it was.
We wanted to lull people in, so when they heard the soundtrack, they were wowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it, Claire.
Okay, so kind of. Oh, sorry.
Go on.
The final question is, where can people find out about the show, follow what's going on, kind of plug yourselves, essentially?
So the place to see that we are updating on a regular basis is Facebook.
Okay.
So we can share that link for us, Rhys. That would be great. And similarly, our Twitter page. We also have an Instagram where we tend to just drop the same stuff in there. So that's how you can follow what's going on. We have signed the film over to a global distribution company based in Los Angeles. So we did that in January, and obviously the coronavirus has come and kind of landed in the middle of all of that. So we're just waiting to see whether we have any success at where it is at the moment, which is in the American film market. So it was taken there last week. It's all been done online this year, which is really weird to the way that it normally goes. So we're just waiting to see if it can be picked up by an American buyer. We've targeted America, Asia, and the Middle East, based on the kind of where musicals do really well. And so it's a watch this space. We are anticipating it will be early 2020 before it's available
21.
21 before it's available in the UK. But yeah, the soundtrack is available now. So if you could obviously share that would be really helpful. But yeah, hopefully it will be coming soon.